Hello and welcome to the first weekly update video for Ethics Management 4073 for the summer session. Basically what we're going to be doing through these weekly updates, I'm going to go through basically what you should have covered through the week, make sure we go over some various points about the discussion posts, about the homeworks that you guys have either turned in or that will be coming up, and kind of talk about some of the meanings behind why we ask some of the things we do and why we get into some of these different areas. It's kind of just an addition to the lecture to make sure you guys are all on the same page, make sure you're getting the basic understanding that we need to make sure you have. First and foremost, I want to make sure that you guys understand kind of how the discussion posts and how the responses go and what was kind of expected of you. Our graduate assistant, John Harden, who I emailed you information about, his information is in the syllabus, he is going to be in charge of grading the discussion posts as well as the homework that you guys do. Any grading questions, anything that you have issues with how it's been scored, need to go to him first, and if there's anything that goes beyond that, I'll have him contact me, or you can contact me if you're not getting the responses that you like. With that being said, what basically we're looking for with in regards to the posts, and kind of what I was hoping you guys would start off with the introduction post, which was graded, by the way, or is being graded, I should say, is that I want to make sure you guys are getting into not just hey, let me check the box and make sure I did this, but actually getting into why you guys think some of the things you do. For instance, with the introduction and your person of integrity comment, it's interesting to see kind of where you guys come from and what kind of background you guys have, and why that's important as far as some of the things you do and some of the things that some of the people you have around you. You know, your person of integrity that you guys have posted about. Several of you put family members. I saw a lot of grandparents that were in there, which kind of leads toward the values of a lot of you that grew up in the Midwest that had the extended family around a lot of times. My personal life, I grew up without having grandparents around, without having some of those issues, so I didn't have that same kind of quality, that same kind of idea. So my people of integrity are people that I've met throughout life for the most part. But a lot of you have that growing up, which is a good source of where you get your values and where you get a lot of that of what you're basically growing up to become. With these types of things, I want to see the examples from your life. Why do these people stand out to you? What are some of the things they've done? What are the things that make you think and make you decide certain things when you are put in those similar situations? So it's an interesting thing to me to get the examples and get the background for all these things, which is why we do that introduction section, so we can kind of see what you guys have been doing, where you guys are living, where you're from, which is always nice. And I know I recognize some of the names that are in the class from in-person classes, but it's always nice to get a little bit more information with people so you can kind of get that understanding. As far as length and things like that, I am much more of a quality over quantity type of person. So not to say that you need to put 3 pages worth of material in each of the discussion posts, but I wanted to be sufficient to where you're actually able to show what it is you're trying to say. 2 words, 2 sentences, I mean, even a paragraph sometimes isn't going to cut it. So make sure that you are being thorough in what you're doing and being thorough in answering the questions. Make sure you're reading the discussion post questions accurately and making sure you understand what it is we're looking for. One of the easiest ways to lose points on these things is to just not answer questions, which makes no sense why you wouldn't just answer the questions. But it's something that a lot of people get in the habit of doing, and they say, oh, I only need to do this much in order to answer this and get credit for it, and just check the box. It's not what we're looking for with this. Again, I'm looking for good quality responses that actually add to the discussion. Same thing with the responses to the other classmates. I don't want the, oh, I agree with you, or oh, I don't agree with you. I want to know why you agree with them. I want to know why you're looking at what they've said and what that means to you and why that's important, and why it makes you have some type of response to where you actually want to respond to that person. One of the things I have seen so far, and granted we've only been going for about a week now, week and a half, is that there are a lot of people that are moving ahead and moving forward, and going through and doing most of, if not all in some cases, of the discussions. Make sure, and it's fine if you want to work ahead, and I encourage you to work ahead, make sure you're being thorough with it. Some of the responses I'm seeing are 2 sentences, and that's not going to get you a very good grade on the discussion post portion of this. So make sure you understand what we're asking, go into some depth, give some examples like I've been talking about. Don't just go through and again check the box. As far as your, we kind of went over the introduction portion already. As far as the chapter 1 discussion question that dealt with the cynicism quotients. The idea behind this was that we wanted to try and, again, kind of get the idea about, take a look at this, kind of the quiz you see in some of the Cosmopolitan magazine type of things. What do you rate in this, or what's my perfect situation for this? And it's kind of one of those types of things that says, look, if you are at this number, you're above average. If you're at this number, you're below average. And kind of seeing where you sit within this. And one of the things I found was with this class in particular, you guys are fairly trusting of society. You're not very cynical. Average of the scores that everybody posted here was right around 23, 24. Whereas in the past, I've been teaching this class for a year and a half now, and doing the same assignment, the same discussion post, and I've had classes that averaged a 35, where they were extremely cynical, and something that we see a lot of why we get that cynicism. And this is one of the things I want you to understand, is that we understand and we mirror kind of what's put in front of us. So if we have those friends and family that we see as being high in integrity, and we are around that all the time, it's something that tends to shape our behaviors and shape our thoughts about what we're seeing and how we're seeing the world being portrayed. One of the things that's interesting to me is that, which I actually thought this would go the other way, is with social media and with society now, and how we kind of put an emphasis on, or not put an emphasis on, but we kind of depict leaders and we depict people and corporations and businesses as being not always the best at what they do as far from a moral standing. But we see some of these things that, and I thought this would actually come out in a lot of you guys' discussions, but it didn't, kind of went the other way, which is surprising. That we kind of have a bad idea about businesses. We have a bad idea about people in general, because it's something that's kind of thrown in our faces all the time on the news, on media, on social media, on Twitter, things like that. Some of the things that we've gotten into deals with just what your perceptions are, and it is a very interesting thing, but it's looking more for introspection and see if you were surprised about how things worked out, and if you kind of expected your score to be what it was. One of the things that I wanted you also to try and figure out is, and some of you guys did this, was giving examples from your life, from your work, from being a student and what it means to you as far as having that cynical viewpoint or having a non-cynical viewpoint where you're not very skeptical about things and you tend to be more trusting. And it's interesting some of the different examples you guys have given from work about working for really good people, or having yourself or your spouses or your parents that have worked for companies where people did things unethically, and that's what shaped either a higher cynicism quotient or a lower one. So it's interesting, but that's kind of what we're looking for with this, is seeing, does it affect your viewpoint of the world? Does it affect how you will behave? Thinking, hey, look, I'm either trusting or I'm not trusting, and what that does moving forward. But again, it's kind of a good introduction to what we're doing and what we're looking at, and how we kind of want to move forward from this moving forward, going into the rest of the course. Couple things, just kind of a short video here. I want to make sure you guys are aware of due dates coming up. Make sure you're aware that we have chapters 2 and 3 that are due by Sunday the 21st, and make sure that you are getting getting everything done that you need to do. Also, the written communication quiz is also due on Sunday the 21st. Make sure you're getting that completed. That's a simple thing to do, easy points that I don't want to see you guys miss. Another thing that may be coming down the road is I got an email from another faculty member that may be looking for extra credit for participation in a survey, or in a trying to get data for a research project that they're doing. So you'll probably see an email from Dr. Cynthia Wang, or from her graduate assistant that's helping her out with the research. So kind of keep that in mind. Homework number one, which is not due this week, which is due the following week. So make sure that you're getting in there and taking a look at that. Again, try to work a little bit ahead, but again, make sure that you are being thorough in what you're doing. Make sure you're answering the questions fully and trying to give examples for why you think that way and why you're posting the example that you are. The more information you can give, the more thorough you can be. Typically, the better you're going to score on these discussion posts as well as the responses. Trying to think if there's anything else. I did get an email about someone who didn't have the book that got sent out to the class. You will need the book in order to do well on the exams. I know I sent another email out this morning, Tuesday morning, about that. But make sure that you have the book, because there's a lot of things that we don't necessarily go over in the lecture, or don't give the exact wording that we were looking for as far as definitions, as far as examples that might be explained a little bit better by the authors of the book. So it's something that you want to make sure you are reading those chapters and going through them pretty thoroughly to understand all the information, to understand all the concepts pretty clearly. But if you don't have that book, you need to make sure to get it pretty quickly, because the semester is going by pretty quickly with it just being an 8-week class. As always, if you guys have any questions or if you have any comments, please email me, email John Harden, our graduate assistant for the class, and you should be seeing grades start being posted pretty soon. I've told John that I expect to have the grades being posted by the following Friday of a due date. So the discussion posts that were due on the 14th should be posted by this Friday coming up, the 19th. So please make sure that stuff's in there. Make sure you have any questions, email him, email me, and I will see you next time.